Hello everyone and welcome to this presentation, Creative Aging and Performance Opportunities in Diverse Context. I am Kathy Goss, one of the 3 directors for Dance for Parkinson's Australia. I am also the Sydney coordinator and a teaching artist for the program. Before introducing you to these wonderful presenters, I would like to welcome you all here from the land on which you are meeting and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. I am joining you from Gadigal land here in Sydney of the Eora Nation. I would like to acknowledge all the elders from the lands on which we are meeting today, past, present, and emerging. I'm thrilled to be hosting this presentation with 4 wonderfully talented and experienced artists and dance makers with a wealth of knowledge in many areas of the creative arts world. I've calculated that over 100 years of combined knowledge and practice between the 4 of them, so we are in for an absolute treat. These 4 experienced art makers will share their experience in creating performance opportunities within diverse Parkinson's communities and creating creative age contexts. We have Philip Piggin from the ACT, Claire Appelt from Queensland, Paige Gordon from Western Australia. But Dr. Katrina Rank from Victoria is going to lead us out, and Katrina is a dancer with over 25 years of performance, teaching and community dance practice. And we look forward, I think she's going to show us the film, so I look forward to handing over to Katrina now. And getting back to you after her talk. Thanks, Katrina.
Unmute myself. Hello, can you hear me now?
Just your camera on, Katrina.
Oh, okay. Hang on a minute.
Technical problem.
And she appears. Hey, I'm Katrina, and what I wanted to present for you today was Stupendous, which is a film that Paris Wages and Andrew Garton and I created in about 2018. It was with about 20 dancers with Parkinson's disease, and we really wanted to provide an opportunity, a creative and artistic opportunity for our dancers to see themselves as dancers and to really get the excitement of performance. We decided on a film because we felt that that was a good way of dealing with people's energies and being able to give them the time and the pacing. We could work up to it nice and slowly in our classes. So I'm going to give you a brief little overview of what the film is about, and then we're going to go straight into the film, and I'm hoping that the magic of all of this will just happen. I don't have to do anything. So the synopsis. A group of dancers steal into an abandoned theatre. In a dressing room, they ready themselves and they rehearse in a foyer lit by sunlight. They climb onto an empty stage and perform to an audience, an empty auditorium for 30 seconds. And in the film, you will see symbols of masks, of a music box that winds down, the glamour, and the gloriousness of getting dressed and ready for an event. So let's cross our fingers and hope that you get to see this piece of work. Okay, so let's see what happens.
Great. I'm going to just jump in here and show people how to access the film. So this is the live stream. So you have 2 choices. We're going to play it right now in the live stream, or if you go over to this resources button, you can press play and watch the film on your own if that's a better quality for you. So we'll go ahead and start it off.
That's it. And then we reveal our mask. So our eyes and a little wriggle of the head. That's right.
Incredibly proud of yourself, really. I just love each and every one of you. Hampton, you are amazing with your fearless leader, Katrina, and I'm so glad you guys are characters just like her, and I love you. Oh, we have to do it again.
Well, that was really wonderful. Thank you, Katrina. Katrina, are you happy to leave any questions? I think we might leave some questions till the end. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to pop them in the chat, and we will get to all of those questions a bit later. So next we have the delightful Philip Piggin, who is from the ACT. Philip is a member of the Zest Dance for Wellbeing team in Canberra, and he is also my fellow co-director for the Dance for Parkinson's program here in Australia. I'm going to hand over to Philip, and he's going to tell us about his beautiful creative pursuits. Thanks, Philip.
Great, thank you so much, Kathy, and thank you so much, Katrina. What a stunning work. I think I need to go to Melbourne and dance with you all. That was just beautiful. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and sincere thanks for being with us today. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of Ngunnawal country in southern New South Wales, from where I'm now speaking, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Some background to the program here in the ACT. I initiated and have managed the Dance for Parkinson's program here in the ACT, commencing in 2013, following attendance at Australia's first training program in Sydney, led by the very brilliant director David Leventhal and very ably supported by our very own wonderful Erica Rose. Previously, I had been a great devotee and practitioner of community dance and dance education programs, much inspired by my 10 years in the UK in the 80s and 90s. However, this new opportunity to work with people with Parkinson's ticked all the boxes for me and for some new creative challenges and opportunities. Performances, are you sure? The next thing to talk about. In the first years of delivering the program, my expectations were, let's not do any performance for at least a year or so until the group settles and feels confident to do so. Famous last words. Erica Rose, perhaps you might put on the first image, please. Within a year, we were invited to perform at a number of Parkinson's events around town. This included the annual World Parkinson's Day event and the biannual fundraiser, A Walk in the Park, both on the foreshore of our beautiful Lake Burley Griffin. You'll see us there, one of the most glorious stages in Canberra, I think. With perhaps a lack of performance experience, but much group enthusiasm, I wanted to keep the event as low-key and stress-free as possible, so decided for an open class experience. Essentially, we were performing a number of dances from our growing repertoire of exercises. These occurred in the round as per our class format, and so we could watch each other, ensure the group was fully supported. These gigs were attended by the Parkinson's community and their supporters, so it felt like a safe and appropriate first step for us. I was then most fortunate to undertake a Churchill-funded trip in 2015 to extend my training. During this 10 weeks, I attended a wide range of classes and courses with many fabulous practitioners in the USA and the UK. When with the Brooklyn group, which is based at the Mark Morris Dance Company's base, I was privileged to observe this large and established dance group present an hour-long concert, the Allegro Project, with works created specifically for them by their respective teachers, plus adapted repertoire from the Mark Morris Company. It was packed out and concluded with a standing ovation and many a tear-filled eye. The seed was sown for something far more serious back home. So, on my return to Canberra, and with my growing confidence and treasured dance colleague Jane Ingle, who runs the class in South Canberra, we presented Capturing Grace at Belconnen Arts Centre, where I worked as a creative programs officer. Our two dance groups combined for the performance. I gave a short presentation on my fellowship travels, and we screened the stunning Capturing Grace, a powerful film about the very first performance of the Brooklyn Parkinson's group some years ago. It was a deeply moving event. Watch the film if you can, and it's listed on the resource library, or will be soon. Group feedback was most positive. It seems the inner show pony was unleashed. Performance opportunities have continued to present themselves, both as part of the Parkinson's events and beyond those. We have since performed at the National Museum of Australia, the National Library, both Belconnen and Tuggeranong Arts Centres, frequently on the shores of Lake Burley Griffin, at Majors Creek Festival, the Dance Science Conference in Sydney, and the Bold Festival. Indeed, perhaps a wonderful fringe benefit of life here in chilly Canberra is the access to our many national and local cultural institutions who take their community relationships seriously. Of particular significance were two events I'd like to briefly share with you. And perhaps, Eric Rose, if you could show the second slide, please. With Canberra Dance Theatre's Gold Company, under the directorship of Liz Lee, we were part of a major dance performance titled Great Sport. This was performed at the National Museum of Australia, celebrating the role of sport in Australian culture. Jane and I created a 7-minute work with the group. I used to run marathons. How fabulous to have this acknowledged when Great Sport won the Community Dance section at the 2018 Australian Dance Awards. We repeated this performance then in Sydney later on that year at the Riverside Theatre. Yes, our first interstate tour, and self-funded. Exhausted and exhilarated, we returned home, and of course, they wanted to know when was our next tour. I would certainly suggest, if you are keen to provide such activities for your groups, check in with your dancers, then your local cultural organisations and arts offices for possibilities, opportunities and support. It does take time. What are the benefits and the challenges that we encountered in the performance experience? Some of the benefits that we heard back from the group following their tour. Number one, talking to people about the benefits of dance for Parkinson's and enlightening them that we can do anything if we set our minds to it. Secondly, taking part in the event really helps in building self-confidence, widening social participation, and valuing of oneself as one is. It was a completely new experience, and others showed me we should never give up on life and always strive to do our best. Being part of a group who love to dance and support each other. And the highlight for me was the performance. It showed the audience a glimpse of what we strive to do. What were some of the challenges they mentioned? Performing in front of strangers. As a newcomer, I was afraid I would make some fatal errors. Truly, we didn't threaten them with anything, quite honestly. Life is always a challenge with PD, but everyone involved was most helpful, so it made it so much easier for us. Fitting in medication to have on time. And finally, it was doing a parky freeze in the middle of the performance, but the swift response of my colleagues and teachers allowed me to stay and participate. And here's an image you'll see at the moment of our performance at Parramatta Riverside as part of the Gold Festival. Very, very moving experience with the full gamut of theatrical lights and staging. I guess from our experience, points I would invite you to think about if you are contemplating doing some serious, significant performance with your group. How appropriate, relevant and realistic is the performance offer for the group? And of course, most importantly, ask them, what is their preference? Ensure all the details are well understood before the event so people can make a well-informed decision. Ensure there's a schedule planned well in advance with all details of rehearsals, warm-up and run-through on-site on the day. Timing to the schedule is so important so people can plan their medication. Allow heaps of time to accommodate the many surprises and delays and challenges of the day. Can individuals in fact decide on the day whether or not they are able to perform? Very importantly, keep the day calm, unhurried and stress-free, and invite the media. As we know, dance is a fabulously visual medium and a great opportunity to shamelessly promote your work. Just briefly, some choreographic considerations and questions. We always invited the group's suggestions of themes, music, movement, costumes, etc. And in fact, the next slide, please, Erica Rose, is a beautiful encapsulation of this. They suggested, "We will rock you, please," inspired by the film Queen that had just come out with all those glorious Freddie Mercury songs. That inspired our next performance, taking place at the National Library. Here they are in full regalia. Can it be done seated or standing? We always accommodate both opportunities. If someone is unable to attend on the day, what is the impact on the whole group? Can the work accommodate someone freezing mid-performance? Consider a combination of both set and improvised sections. And can you provide strategically located guide persons for the performance to support the dancers throughout the work? And to what level of polish do we aspire? Without doubt, though, it creates a wonderful choreographic challenge. And this last work was created by two of my colleagues and was an absolute crowd winner. Finally, some of the surprises that I guess have come out of our performance journey. Much of this was made possible as our Dance Wellbeing program received 3 years funding from ACT Health, commencing in 2016. This enabled us to firmly embed the Dance and Wellbeing program into the ACT, catering for people with Parkinson's, plus classes for people with a range of other chronic conditions. We have developed strong working relationships with health and other cultural organisations across town. We have a constant stream of visitors to class, students from our University of Canberra and the Australian National University, health and dance practitioners from Australia and overseas, as well as family and friends. Have a fantastic team of co-teachers. It is such a team effort. Thank you so much to them. I now have a whole new group of dancing friends, and of course they are teaching me far more than I am teaching them, without doubt. This year, interestingly, the program was given to the teaching artists to manage and run themselves. So now rebranded as Zest, Dance for Wellbeing, and perhaps we'll put that link onto the website as well, our resource library, we continue to provide a major focus of weekly classes and exercise for our community and performances when COVID permits. To conclude, being part of the Dance for Parkinson's program has certainly been a highlight of my career. I'm very, very indebted to my many Dance for Parkinson's colleagues and friends here in Canberra, across Australia and across the world, in fact, and to the committed dancers in the program. They've made it a most fascinating and fabulous journey. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kathy.
Great, Philip. Wow, that was fantastic. I was lucky enough to see your beautiful performance out at the Riverside Theatre, and I can absolutely wholeheartedly endorse it. It was just so moving and so beautiful. Great considerations too there if you're thinking of performance work, and what, some great tips. Thank you, Philip, about considering the holistic approach to that. Right, next off, we have the gorgeous Paige Gordon from Western Australia. Paige is based in WA and is an artist with 30 years history of dance making in Australia. For the past 15 years, her dance practice has been focused on dance in health projects and creating ways to share the benefits of dance and performance with her community. Paige is going to tell us a little bit about the Wingspan project, and I will hand over to Paige to tell you all about that. Thank you, Paige.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paige. I'm here in Perth, WA, on Whadjuk Noongar land. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and seas and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I will be sharing with you today a little bit of information about the Wingspan project, which will be performed this coming weekend, the Mandurah Arts Festival, which is in the Peel region of WA, which is an hour south of Perth. And I would also like to acknowledge the Binjara elders, traditional custodians of the land and sea in this part of the Noongar Nation. Huge thanks for inviting me here today. Absolutely lovely to be part of a midweek mini festival. And I just would really like to the Dance for Parkinson's Australia team, Erica Rose, Philip, Kathy, and all of the supporting staff that have been instrumental in putting this together. It's an absolute delight, and I'm really, really happy to be here. So Wingspan is a seated dance performance, as I've just mentioned, and it is yet to be performed. So I'm here now talking to you really right in the creative process. We've done 2 community rehearsals the last 2 Sundays, and we're in production week, and I can just feel the momentum coming with the number of emails that are coming to me from the participants. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of insight on the process so far. And I just want to say that this performance opportunity has come out of the seated dance classes that I've been teaching down at Mandurah for the last, well, since March. I mean, with the COVID, we haven't experienced the intense lockdowns that other states have. So in some ways there's been life as normal, but classes have been going on, and in the Mandurah area, there's been a really lovely kind of uptake of seated dance classes from the people with Parkinson's, but also MS, seniors and people with low mobility. So it's been a lovely experience and performance project to build on. So the creative process started a few months ago when I was successful in securing a grant from the City of Mandurah, because they were looking for a community dance performance which was immersive, which would engage members of the community and was inclusive. So I pitched this idea about the shore and water birds of the Mandurah estuary. So I'm just going to share my screen so you can see some of the images. Just bear with me. Okay. All right, I'm hoping you can see that. Okay, so as I said, the work Wingspan celebrates the shore and water birds of the Mandurah estuary. So the thing about the Mandurah Peel area is got immense wildlife around it. It's beautiful. It's known for its wildlife, migratory birds nesting, and I was able to capture that in the choreography. Obviously, the images of birds and bird life and flying are wonderfully rich resources to draw movement from. So I was able to work that into the choreography, and I also worked really closely with a composer, a local composer, Claire Pannell, and she was able to use bird sounds from the local area. She was recording bird sounds from the local area, as well as the sounds of water and waves. So I've got a little bit of her music here, so I'd like to play that while I continue to talk a little bit about it. Hear that. All right, so choreographically, as I said, it was a really rich source for me, but also it had that double meaning of really asking the dancers to extend their own wingspan, extend the breadth of their movement, and extend themselves in terms of stepping into an opportunity. Perhaps it was outside their comfort zone to perform. So I really worked closely with the members of our class, but also sent it out to the wider community through the community engagement teams of the Mandurah Performing Arts Centre and the City of Mandurah, what kind of response there would be in terms of the uptake of registration for the dancers. So, as I said, it was open to all members of the community, and it was a great way to cast the net wide, so to speak, and really invite people to be a part of their own festival. So the steps of the process were registering, then people were sent a link And on the link was to the instructional video. So the choreography, also the choreographic intent, the concept, the costuming was all embedded into this link to the instructional video, I'm calling it. So people were then able to use that as a resource to work through the choreography in their own home or their own studio, wherever they were able to see it, and took time to kind of go forward and back and go over aspects of the choreography that they might needed to be able to learn it. Then there was 2 community rehearsals last weekend and the weekend before, and this weekend are the performances. So in terms of that resource, it meant that a lot of creative decisions had to be made prior to filming that instructional video. And I had worked really closely with the choreographer, but also the scenic designer, Noel Howell, and also the videographer, to come together to make this resource that people I knew would dip in and out of. So I've got a little bit of it here. I won't play the whole lot, but I probably will offer that as a link at a later date, if that's useful for people. So I'm just going to I'm going to take you to about 12 minutes into the instructional video, and just so it gives you a little taster of how it was structured. You can see that.
Learn it. Now we've worked on the choreography, let's do it together with the sound score. I'd like to introduce you to Ella. She's going to be one of the dancer guides that will be with us as part of the performance. So let's put Claire's music on and let's do all the sections together.
Okay, I think I'll stop it there. All right, great. So that just gives you a little taster of one of the sections, and the instructional video showed the sections broken down and taught and then put together. The performance will eventually be performed this weekend outside, right next to the estuary on the boardwalk in front of the Mandurah Performing Arts Centre. So we'll have that nice kind of environmental quality as we're celebrating and our homage to the birds around us. Okay, so the community rehearsals, as I said, have both been completed, and it was just such an incredible learning experience for me. The fact that the participants were so keen to learn and work so hard to learn the movement, they also came equipped, ready for the rehearsal. We in fact didn't have to do too much other than do it together. It was absolutely amazing, and it's opened my eyes to the incredible tools in terms of being able to multiply choreography, in terms of really valuing how much people want to take responsibility for their own learning. And I think it was just such an eye-opener for me. And I'd also like to credit some of my national counterparts I sent the video to, who gave me some feedback on that as well. And it's just been a marvellous, marvellous aspect of this project. So I look forward to seeing how the performances go and to see whether that plays out in that way as well. So at this stage, we have 25 performers. We are ranging from the age of 35 to 95. We have 6 performers who are in their 80s, 8 who are in their 70s, 3 who are in their 60s, and 9 who are in their 50s. So it's going to be a pretty amazing event. There certainly has been a fair bit of laughter and a great connection in the groups. One performer, as I mentioned, is making her dancing debut at the age of 95, and we are so excited for that. Some of you may know Liz Cornish. She's a fellow Dance for Parkinson's colleague. It's her mum that's making her dancing debut. And the commentary about, you know, all her life, and that's Liz's mum, had been driving her daughters around to dance performances and dance lessons, and this was an opportunity for Anne to have her own spotlight. So we're very, very happy about that. The Scenic Design, oh, it's another image. The Scenic Design, as I mentioned, is by Noel Howell, and this will be just a very small aspect of unifying the group and bringing us together. So Noel was pretty inspired by the estuary right next to the Mandurah Performing Arts Centre, and so he wanted to pick up the colours of the estuarine, green, and he's made featherwear, we're calling it, so like a feather motif that we're wearing, and each person is choosing to wear a combination of black and white block colours, and then featherwear will be placed on it. In the centre of the group, just where the dancer guides are, which is where the, you know, structured like a Dance for Parkinson's class, there's going to be 3 dancer guides in the centre. There's some beautiful feather mats that are being put down because there will be drone footage that the Mandurah Arts Festival are taking, and so they'll be a really nice centre point for that footage. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, obviously we needed to have a break in our rehearsals, and a shared cuppa, which is an element of the Dance for Parkinson's class and the seated dance classes. That was a really, really important way to build connection with the kind of group of strangers, really, as we all embark on this project of performing next weekend. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It'd be great to get a great understanding of the evaluation and feedback from participants on the other side of these performances. I'll let you know how they go. We're really excited that the performance will be visible to anyone that's going to be walking around the area. The festival, there's lots of other events on, and we're really excited just to be a small part of that. And yeah, we're really happy. And I'll just leave you with one little question that I've been pondering as I've done this process, and certainly over the last few years. With all the global research, the training, the methodology, the expertise, the phenomenal teachers, the phenomenal performance makers, is seated dance becoming potentially a genre in its own right? I'll assert that it is, and I look forward to discussing that with you. Hopefully I'll speak to you again on the other side of the performances. Thank you.
Fantastic, Paige. I will agree with you that I do think it's a genre all unto its own. And I do know that beautiful boardwalk there in Mandurah, so I wish you such chukkers for the weekend performance, and particularly to Anne, making her debut at 95. How amazing, inspirational right there. All right, so our last presenter for the session is Claire Appelt from Queensland. Claire is a dance advocate, community cultural development practitioner. She's currently working for the Lutheran Services within the Creative Programs Advisory Team. If you would like to see a little bit more expansive biographies about any of the 4 that we are seeing today, please have a little look at the presenters, the little presenters box that you can find on the Arts Front website. All right, so Claire, I'm going to hand over to you to tell us a little bit more about your work. Thanks, Claire.
And yes, okay, good. So I just wanted to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I am working on and acknowledge their elders past and present and emerging. So I'm on Yagara and Turrbal land, and I suppose I work across Southeast Queensland, so I can't remember all the groups right now, but I want to acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging as well. So I'm here to talk about the amazing project If Only I Could. And this has been a long-term collaboration with Angela Chaplin, and we started in 2017. So just before I start my slideshow, I am a creative arts therapist and dance therapist, and as Catherine said, I'd like to call myself a community cultural development worker. So I like to work with communities to create work and to build skill. And Lutheran Services has given me the opportunity to work with our residents, and they're a sort of a diverse population. They have various conditions. Some have Parkinson's, some have dementia, some have other conditions. So seated dance is a very accessible form, and I agree with Paige, it is a genre in itself. So before I go on, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go, just let me know. So we have just done an amazing performance at Laidley. The If Only I Could, we performed on the 1st of October. We were supposed to perform at QPAC, but COVID prevented us doing that. And you can see in this image, you can see Angus Bolton, he's in the wheelchair, dancing with Nadia Milford. So that was the opening duet, which brought many people to tears. We had the honour of having the local mayor come, and she was really moved by the piece, and she really got the fact that what we're trying to do is demonstrate that people of all ages and abilities can dance and perform. So I want to acknowledge our supporters right now. So QPAC, Arts Queensland, Lutheran Services and the Lutheran Church of Australia. So yes, I'm just going to click. So as I said, this production had its roots in a project in 2017. Angela Chaplin, who was working for Ausdance Queensland at the time, presented at a conference saying she wanted to create a piece of dance theatre with seniors about their love and experience of dance. And so we started doing dance circles at 4 of our services around our Southeast Queensland services. So you can see that I'm dancing with residents in many contexts. I had really asked Angela to use a multimodal process. So we had ballroom dances, we had costumes like to hold, objects to hold. We used music, we used tactile work, touch, we used duets to really activate everyone, both professional dancers and people with dementia or Parkinson's or whatever, to bring themselves into themselves, connect to each other, and then start to create scenes and ideas. So we had a rehearsed showing at the Judith Wright in 2018. That's us rehearsing. We had the professional dancers included Bradley Chatfield, Felix Parmesan, Sandy Wu, Lizzie Vilmanis is the choreographer, Dane Berry, Sue Gillingham as River City Ballroom, Jacob Watton, Alicia De La Fuente, And what was good about that group of dancers is that there are really quite a range of age groups within the professional dancers as well. So in terms of how we worked with the residents, we wanted to create an open structure for the workshops. So we created a lot of rapport. We spent many weeks dancing with and creating with. So we used music, as I said, touch, object handling, video, to bring memory and ourselves into the present or to explore the past. And then what we realized that our cast was we didn't know who was going to run with us over the years of funding structures. So we needed an open structure so that whoever is still with us by the time we get to the stage, we can allow the moment of creation, or creation in the moment, I should say. And that has really worked for us. And it's a process that we keep using at Lutheran Services as well. So in this current performance, we had 7 residents at Tabeel in Laidley commit wholeheartedly to the process. We had Max Oyston, Jenny McHugh, Lorraine Paros, Angus Polson, Daphne Grosskopf, Amy Chandler, and Rosie Mercer. And Amy, it was her debut too. I was excited to hear that her dream of becoming a professional dancer was realized with this project. We were very excited. And when we talked to them about what they got out of this project, you know, having fun, coming together and being involved in such a fun process was top of the list. Having the childhood dreams being achieved. People said they felt more alive. Their movement range increased. And one person said that her feet stopped to swell. They didn't swell. And she's sad that it's finished. So my job now is to keep dance happening for her so her feet don't swell, which is great. So that becomes a prescription. And just this photo is about Daphne's son was so impressed that he got Daphne and Lorraine to write their names on his forearm as autograph. So it was very wonderful. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen so that we can watch the video. Maybe, Erica, do you have that video you can share through your platform?
Yes, I have just added it to the resources tab, so we could watch it through that, hopefully, if it's showing up. Hold on 1 second. Let's see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Claire.
This little video is a little capture of a bit of rehearsal and a bit of our performance at Laidley. So I hope you enjoy that.
This is about working together. It's not going to be a cute little concert. It's going to be something very heartfelt, and it's going to show that trust and partnership between the dancers and the residents. What's been great is we've seen their confidence grow. We've seen them contribute more and more as we went on. We've seen their physicality grow, you know, that someone who might have started with their arms only going to here is now going to here.
It does take time, and I can definitely see, it's really beautiful how much trust they have built in us. And Lizzie, the choreographer or movement director, led warm-up every day, and it would just be a series of putting the music on. Often they selected the music, you know, we had a bit of Elvis Presley, we had a little bit of Over the Rainbow, we had a bit of this, that and the other, and just allowing them to be themselves and giving them the opportunity to play.
first song. And my husband's parents are 93 and 91, and I wish we'd brought them down.
I was just about in tears because we only just buried our sister the other week. And this sort of got me thinking back to her and thinking maybe it would have been good if she would have been able to see it, or we'd been able to tell her about it.
This has been a fantastic crew, you know, especially the professional dancers. They've looked after us just so well.
Life is never, you know, linear. It can be a whole wave of experiences.
You're used to going to see your grandchildren perform, but now it's like seeing your own grandparents performing, and I think it was really, really lovely.
Wow, that was wonderful, Claire. So inspirational. Goodness gracious, what wonderful. Oh, I'm so full of ideas. Thank you so much, everyone. Perhaps we can take some questions if everyone would like to turn on their cameras. There is a question in the chat. I'll just read it, shall I? Because it might be just easier. With such an amazing group of project in this session and throughout the day and tomorrow. Oh, I see. No, is that not perhaps for how do we work better together to promote these amazing opportunities for communities and audience? That's a really great question. Sorry, I fudged over that one. Would you like me to read it again? Such an amazing group of project in this session and throughout today and tomorrow. How do we work better together to promote these amazing opportunities for communities and audiences? That's a great question. Thank you, Elliot. Perhaps maybe Paige, you might like to, or anyone that would like to take that on?
I'll just maybe start with a partial answer. For me, I think the key is partnerships, and I think people's experience in creative partnerships is relative in different states. So I feel like, especially viewing the work from the Bold Festival and knowing Philip's incredible work that's happening in Canberra and Katrina's real evolution in performance, I just feel like WA is a little bit behind on our evolution of this. So I think that it's really relative. I feel like I have to spend a fair bit of time in educating, advocating, really bringing people along in this incredible journey, because once they get on the journey and once they understand how amazing seated dance is, for example, they are true pioneers and true believers. But I feel like it's relative to different states, and I feel like it's everyone's on a different pathway.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else, the other three, Katrina or Claire? Philip, would you like to add anything to that?
I can add a little bit, but like you say, it really is very relative, isn't it? You know, and I think all the ways that everybody's working is really relevant and valid and valuable. You know, there's so many, like all the different options work. It's just that there are different ways of going about doing it. Sometimes it's just that an opportunity arises and you go, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Let me grab the team, or yes, I'll do it and I'll worry about the team later. Or, you know, or the community decide that they want to do something. So it really is a bit of a mixed bag. I find that one of the most difficult things is applying for funding. I mean, I'm relatively successful at it, but only really small grants, really. I just have to get lots and lots of really small grants to do things. And then it becomes a highly administrative role as well as a creative one. Fortunately, the creative one is so great and so much fun and so rewarding that it's worth it. But yeah, and you're always learning. Like, I'm always finding that oh gosh, I miss doing that thing. How could I have been so stupid to have forgotten that thing? And I'll be specific here. We just launched this film called Firebird, and Liz Lee from Bold said, "Have you done audio descriptions?" And I went, "Oh, how stupid of me. I was in the thick of things and didn't think of that." But of course, it's a valuable thing to have. So we're always learning and we're always going to make mistakes, and we might as well embrace those and have great fun and a rewarding experience through sharing it with other people.
100%. That's great. On those beautiful words, Katrina, I might, at this moment in time, thank Katrina, Philip, Paige, and Claire so much. It was so inspirational, and really, you're doing such wonderful things. So, huge congratulations, and just keep up all that good work. And I know sometimes that admin does weigh you down, but you're right, that creative side keeps us all going. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all four of you for